Hi everyone, this is Margaret Manning with 60 and Me. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired. My guest today is Julie Dargan. Julie is a nurse and a naturopath, and she helps women to deal with their postmenopausal body and mind. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Margaret. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here. Thank you for being here. We've got some questions for you about something that affects a lot of women in their 60s with their postmenopausal body, and that is sleep. How sleep is interrupted by various things. And I wondered if you could talk a bit about that, what kind of impact on your sleep, your postmenopausal body can create.
Well, it can create a vicious cycle. Don't sleep at night, you wake up tired and grumpy, you're grumpy throughout the day. You also aren't as stressed. You don't do exercise because you're tired, so you might get into the car instead of where you might have gone for your daily walk. Then you end up sitting in the chair for 3 o'clock. You're going to have a quick nap. It comes 5 o'clock, you're waking up, and then you can't sleep again at night. So it does create a whole vicious cycle, and it's a cycle that you need to snap out of, or else it'll only just keep getting worse. And as you get older, you don't need as much sleep. Surprisingly enough, you don't need as much sleep as when you were younger. So initially it could have been that you're going to bed too early. So you might find that you can stay up that little bit later and then get up that little bit earlier. And because you might be finding you don't need the 8 to 10 hours sleep that you needed when you were younger, which can happen.
Well, Julie,
yes.
What's happening to cause that? I mean, what's happening in your body, in your hormones, in your most postmenopausal body to actually create that?
Well, for some women, it can be the night sweats. They can still be suffering night sweats as they go along. And if you suffer too many night sweats, and what is interfered with is called the REM sleep pattern. That's the sleep pattern where you'll see the eyes flickering. Right. That's the real deep sleep. And if you're tossing and turning a night due to the night sweats and the hot flushes and then freezing cold, you're not getting your REM. So you're not getting that nice heavy sleep. So this is where diet and lifestyle comes in. If you can get on top of your night sweats, if you can decrease and then don't get them, then you have a blissful night's sleep. So what you might decide to do is sleep in layers. So rather than having one big doona, have 2 or 3 light doonas, so then you can put them up or down as you need be. And that was one of the best things that I ever did, so I could gauge it. Mm-hmm. Before I had one doona, when I threw one off, then I was waking up a half an hour later freezing cold. So once I got that sorted out, I was fine.
Okay, so I love the use of your word doona, but I have no idea what a doona is. Is that a duvet? Is that what you mean? Like a duvet?
Yes, sorry, yeah.
I'm just thinking here, people are thinking as they're listening to you, like, what is she talking about? A duva? What on earth? This is Australia. Julie lives in Melbourne, I should say.
That's
great. So layering. Yeah. So temperature, basically. Mm-hmm. Do you become more sensitive to temperature to it? I mean, I know I get colder at night now, just even in the warm weather.
Yeah, and a lot of women could be doing that as well, because the circulation is greatly interfered with. So a lot of women might find they get cold feet, and that interferes with their sleep at night. So perhaps wear some woolen socks to go to bed with, because it might be only your feet that you need the warmth. The rest of the body doesn't. So that's one thing that you could do. And a lot of people, as we're getting older, are working on their computers at night. They're surfing the internet at night. They're answering Facebook messages at night. Then someone might put up something that upsets them. And so you're not going to bed relaxed. So you really do need to shut down that computer a good 2 hours before you go to bed at night. Yeah. So it's not playing on your mind. And also because the screen is a bright screen, and it's keeping your mind active. The mind needs to wind down. So I would say 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, turn off your computers, have a nice lemon balm tea, lavender tea, chamomile tea. I don't like chamomile myself, but chamomile and spearmint. Yeah, people either love it or hate it. But there are other teas that you can have. And the secret to that is don't have that at bedtime, because then you'll be up at 1 o'clock in the morning to go to the toilet because you've just had a cup of tea. Have that at about 9 o'clock. So then you're not going to the toilet in the middle of the night. So the teas are a great idea, and start to have them a little bit early.
Yeah. And what about lights? I know I'm a person that tends to leave a night light on, and I've decided that that's not a good idea, that it keeps me restless. I wake up several times in the night. Was that?
And you don't realise it. You really should sleep in a dark room. Yes. What you can get is little safe night lights. Because as you get older, you don't want to be tripping over going to the bathroom if you need to go. Right. Whereas if you have an activated night light, so as you walk past it activates, then you go to the toilet, get back into bed, and then it goes off. A lot of the time you're fumbling for the light switch, then you're woken up or you've knocked something over. But it's best to sleep in a very darkened room.
Okay, that's actually really, really good advice. But okay, so your postmenopausal body for a woman is probably kind of more impacted by your diet, by your lifestyle, but all those things that we've talked about in other videos really contribute to a good night's sleep. So, for example, how should we eat before we go to bed? I mean, and if so, what kinds of things are okay to eat? Should we exercise before sleep?
No, you really should. Well, no, yoga and meditation is what you should be doing before you go to sleep. Any type of thing that stimulates the body is going to stimulate you once you go to bed, and then you'll be there with the blinking eyes and you can't get back to sleep. You really want to be doing winding down things just before going to bed. So really, for some people, after 6 o'clock, they shouldn't be eating, because when you are sleeping, that's when the body is resting. So if you eat, the body is trying to metabolize to break down that food. But what it should be doing is shutting down your metabolism organs, your intestines. It shouldn't be doing any work. So if it's busy doing that, and you'll notice this when you go out for a late dinner with friends, you'll toss and turn all night. And alcohol plays a big part as well. So if you've had a little bit too much to drink, that can create snoring. And snoring, again, you wake up exhausted because you're not getting enough oxygen in. So that can create that problem. But having a diet rich in green leafy vegetables, high magnesium, because magnesium is your relaxing. A lot of people concentrate on the calcium, and especially as they get older, they're taking either calcium supplements or increasing their calcium in their diet. Mm-hmm. That's good for exciting, but you need to off-balance that with magnesium. So magnesium foods of your bananas, your nuts, calming foods is very important, yes.
Okay. Well, it sounds to me like a lot of the advice you're giving is actually applicable to any age, men or women. But yeah. I mean, I think that, I don't know whether it's a fair statement, but I think women are very sensitive to their bodies. And I think that we do feel the stress more. We sort of take holistic views of things. So we tend to have problems that we dwell over in our mind. And what you're saying is that stress is at the heart of really stress caused by bad diet choices or like overactivity. And, is that we have to
and that's where shutting down the computer, because you'll be stressing and looking on the computer. You're right, we are stressing. We're always trying to fix everybody else's problems, the children's problems, our husband's problems. Lavender is excellent. Even just dab a little bit on a tissue and put that onto your pillow. I will say to people, don't put it onto your pillowcase, because if you have too much lavender, it can stimulate you. And you're there at 1 o'clock in the morning and you remove the pillowcase, but you can remove the tissue. Or I might put a tissue there for an hour before I go to bed, and that's enough to linger in the room. Put the tissue away in the bin in the bathroom, and then it's a nice little lingering thing. Hot bubble bath, not straight before bed, but about an hour before going to bed, with a little bit of lavender, calming candles. If you had a particularly stressful day, it's really important that you know to have a relaxing evening, because it's very important for you to get your sleep and face the day renewed for the next morning.
Great advice. You've just done a little checklist of things that I'm going to try myself. And I always put the lavender on the pillow. So I'm going to do the tissue trick. No, those are all great.
I did that bobs, yes, because the baby would stimulate. They say, but the lavender stimulated them. I said, well, try a little bit of a tissue. It was a great idea, yes.
It's amazing how powerful nature can be, isn't it?
Yes.
How these natural scents and foods can just make such a difference. Well, I'm really happy we talked to you. Julie has a great website. It's called themenopausewhisperer.com.
.com, yes.
Yeah. And you've got some great information there, and I encourage people to go there, check it out, and we'll put that information in the article below. But any last words on having a good sleep?
No, it's kind of like it's evaded me now. One probably big thing would be to limit the alcohol. The alcohol can be the biggest killer to try and help into people to sleep. Yes.
Yeah. And then you have a glass of water too, so that you're not going to have a little bit of a hangover in the morning, and then you're up in the middle of the night at the loo, like you said.
Definitely. But you know what? We have to relax too sometimes. And I'll just go and have a good night, and I'll surrender. Say I'll suffer with this tomorrow, and it was well worth it. So I'm not saying give up on life completely either.
I totally agree with you 1,000%. Thank you so much, Julie, for being here. It's been great to talk with you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.